I am a soul blazer. I change lives, I touch people's souls, and I open them up. I teach people how to be present and to be in their authentic soul. Do you guys know what imposters are? These untrained imposters, they reside on the stage of our brain, and they're trying to control us. But usually what happens is they make things worse. But the good news is that we can control them. We could take over and we could teach them to work for us instead of against us. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is so exciting to be here today. I have a very special guest. Her name is Dr. Jackie Liu, and we were both nominated for the top life coaches. So I thought it would be fun to have her on the show. And a little bit about Jackie. She is a neuroscientist and an award-winning international life coach who is fascinated with human behaviors and the mechanisms underlying our mental and emotional states. With a deep appreciation for the integrative approach of modern psychology, neuroscience, and spirituality, Jackie is a top life coach in Australia and has co-created with people from all over the world to radically transform into more self-awareness, sense of purpose, and inner freedom. Jackie's vision is to empower the human family to tune in consciously and align with our authentic, virtuous self, to live passionately and creatively with full presence. So welcome, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for the kind introduction. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, so you're in Hong Kong and it's around midnight over there, right?
Yes, totally. This is my midnight delight from Lisa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, so good to have you here. So did you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what you're up to?
Yeah, well, there's nothing much more to add because you gave such a nice introduction. So basically right now I'm in Hong Kong. I'm a scientific officer of the Hong Kong Center for Neurodegenerative Diseases. Can never pronounce that word. Neurodegenerative diseases. Yeah, so we're specializing in Alzheimer's disease, trying to create scientific breakthroughs in both the diagnostic as well as the prognostic approaches to combating this condition.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah,
so what I do is something called SoulBlazing. So you took this the quiz.
Yes.
And I wanted to intertwine this into what you do because we both do, very similar stuff about really getting to your authentic soul and trying to live with purpose and passion. So who was your dominant imposter?
My dominant imposter, according to your quiz, is the Joker.
Oh,
which is incredibly accurate, actually. You hiding behind my humor, trying to make everybody laugh so I feel approved and loved. And when it comes to intimate relationships, I tend to push them away. And, very accurate, everything you said. And I've also asked a few of my friends to take the test, and they all said,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah, the fixer, what do you have? The fixer, the overthinker, egotist, authentic soul, obviously. Yeah, I think they're all really amazingly accurate.
Okay. Did you find like you had another imposter?
I didn't really try to do it the second time, but all my friends somehow they wanted to do it twice, so they get 2. And then I'm not sure whether it matters the state from which you're doing the test. Like if you're more relaxed and you're less anxious, maybe you get a different answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think also you are fundamentally one person, but I think like a lot of people are all 7 of them. And so when you focus on one, you could really start to heal yourself because you could say, oh, this is the main way I do life. And I do life through this lens. And that's the purpose of it. So what is the primary negative consequence of that negative imposter?
Well, the word negative can be quite dualistic sometimes. So I see my imposter as some defense mechanisms I've used since a very young age. It's almost like I see it as an arrow, like you're shot by an arrow, and one day you decided to look into the mirror, look at yourself, and you realize there's an arrow there. And instead of trying to find, okay, who's the one who shot the arrow to me, it's more helpful to actually see, okay, why did I keep it there? So I think none of us really like to admit that we have all those insecurities and people pleasing and approval seeking kind of approach to life. But if we've been doing that for so long, obviously it works to an extent. So it's protected us. Somehow the ego built this persona because the ego thinks it can protect us from certain situations. So my approach, instead of thinking they're negative, I actually try to see them, like Ram Dass said, like trees. If you go into a forest and you look at different trees, you don't judge them. Oh, this one's more bent, that one's more the shorter one, but you just embrace them and you try and get curious about them. So, but then for the Joker imposter that I am, the negative consequence would be, because I try to see the humor in everything, sometimes I might lose touch of reality, because I'm hiding behind the humor. So instead of seeing things as they are, I might try to find what is comfortable for me, always going for the fun in everything. If I go to a funeral, for example, there's nothing humorous about it, right? So the negative consequence would be I might lose touch with reality. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So with that, I love what you talked about with Ram Dass about the different trees, because when we look at ourselves, we're a little more critical than if we look at someone else. Like you could say, oh, I've got this thing or I've got that thing going on. And, you're thinking we see your flaws. But if you're confident and you present as confident, that really goes away, because if you could accept those broken pieces of you, because that's what makes you you. If we were all perfect, we wouldn't be here on earth. We're here to grow, and we're all from a certain space, so so it's like, I equate it to like a pit bull. If you feed a pit bull and you're aware of what a pit bull does, it won't bite you or bite others. It'll be a loving, wonderful dog. It still has these traits, but they're under control and they work for you instead of against you. Because it's great to have this protective dog, right?
Yes.
But you don't want it biting people you love. So it's the same thing if we could just apply that to ourselves. Yeah. So how do your actions support the life you're creating, and how can others do the same?
Well, in my humble experience, I think it's like in science, I work in a lab, so we're all nerds. But the good thing about being a scientist is you never see things as a failure. You only see, if you try an experiment 99 times, you always think the 100th time will work.
Yeah.
So looking at the persona, sometimes we don't have to be so serious. I think just see it like an experiment. Like Ramana Maharshi said that your self-realization is the greatest service you can give the world, right? Yeah. So to question all of our thoughts and actions instead of judging ourselves, I think maybe a more gentle way to just play the game where we are. That would be the attitude, I'd say, to really support ourselves and others.
How would you do that?
I think
in your life of how you've done that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very transparent with my friends, so like I can be really goofy sometimes, and I think in a way, I trust that no matter how I am, I'll still be loved. But it's not always easy. It really depends on our states. So if we can do the same for other people, like if we can love and care about other, no matter what kind of persona they've shown us, then in a way we can relax our need to impress other people or to hide from other people.
Yeah, and if we get that everybody is going through the same thing, we all have issues that we're trying to hide and trying to present our best self. We all have insecurities. Can you
Yes.
tell me one time in your life that you had to overcome that, like when you were presenting or doing something?
Well, maybe now, because I'm not somebody who is really comfortable with talking in a really eloquent way. But then for me, I trust that I can just be myself, and everybody can relate to a time where we're a little awkward or insecure, and not everybody has to play the same model or pedestal of success. So yeah, exactly. So we can define our own success or our way or the path of least resistance to become. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So right now you're saying your imposter could be coming up.
Yes, very much so. Like this is my persona that I could be putting up a mask that I have to be very professional and wearing a shirt. I'm talking to you, but then I'm actually just a really introverted nerd. But then that could also be my imposter.
Yes.
So yeah, it's really like it's being authentic also an imposter, because we're judging being inauthentic into the personal unconscious and the shadow. So
Yes.
yeah, so that's always a paradoxical and really fun question.
Yes. I love it. That's what I love about this work.
Mhm.
Really explore that. What does it take for you to be your best self?
I think the best self is to see through the preferred perception of ourselves by other people. Because to see our best self as the best self itself it could also be an imposter kind of thing, right? Because I'm pushing away what I deem negative and I'm promoting what I approve as something I want to be identified with. So if we're actually tricking ourselves into the ambush built by the ego, we can get very inflated about a very selected side of our persona. Then the whole individuation process can be fragmented. So in order to be the best self is actually to embrace all that we see in ourselves and not to push away anything.
Yeah, that's interesting because when you do that, you may not accomplish everything you want to accomplish. And you may go, oh, what is my friend doing? And look at that person, and be on social media comparing yourself. And you're going, oh, they're being their best self. How come my best self is like below?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because it's all relative, right?
yeah, because it's not
Mhm.
true. And what you're seeing is their imposter, whatever, presenting what they want to present to the world, not necessarily their true self or what's really going on in their life.
Yeah.
And we talk about, especially if you're in LA or New York or Hong Kong, maybe bigger cities, it's always, I got to get to the next level. Okay, accomplish this. That's great. Toss it to the side and you're already going on what's the next thing? What's the next thing? We don't take time to be present, to just enjoy where we're at and the accomplishments that we have made. Even if it's, I made my bed today, I made my own cup of coffee and I enjoyed this, or just walking barefoot on grass. I mean, everything has truth, love, meaning, and purpose in it. It's just not how many dollars are in your bank account. It's really mind, body, heart, soul. are you feeding each area of this life, and how are you doing it? Could you tell me what you do in the morning to create your days or the night before?
Well, you mentioned making your bed. I don't do that. Um,
Okay.
like to me, making your bed is like taking off your shoes and then tying them back together and then put them in the
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can call me a little messy, but what I do in the morning, usually the first 10 minutes, I really try not to look at my emails because I want to identify as a human being, not as my occupation. Right. So setting the tone to actually understand, okay, I'm a blob of protein on planet Earth. Just getting my reality check. Because sometimes we can get caught up with what we think we are, like 24/7. So in the morning, I just sit there, do a bit of yoga, and then before nighttime, I give it 1 or 2 hours just to have some passive entertainment. Because every day, like even we're on YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, doing everything. Everything's on demand, right? We can demand everything to happen, including entertainment now. So remember back in the day when we watched TV, we didn't get to choose what to watch, right? So nowadays I just sit back and watch a bit of YouTube, but then put it on auto or listen to some music, put on shuffle on Spotify,
Yeah.
just to give myself the lack of choice, so I don't feel so much that I need to control everything that I consume in my brain.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, I agree.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um,
yeah,
and when we look at people's TikToks and we look at all other social media, we read an article, whatever it is, there's this thing called what about me, where if someone's saying, oh, I wash my hair like this every day and this is why it's so beautiful, then you'll get comments saying, well, what if you're bald? What does a bald person do? Or what about this? What about this? When we become too individualized and not part of a community, that gets dangerous too, because you're always, we want to hate because we want to judge because we don't love ourselves. And I think that's the imposter coming out, like, I'm feeling left behind. If that's the case, you don't post on that. It's not about you. It's about someone who does have this, or, you know what I mean? But it's always like, well, why do you get that and I don't? I saw someone posting, oh, I relaxed all day and just read a book. How dare you read a book? I wish I had all this free time to read it. It's like, whoa, let people post. It's not, a comparison. Everyone's life is different. Everyone created something different. Some people put more time into who am I? Who do I want to be in this world? And how do I want to live? And they really create their life instead of being a victim to life, which is part of the work you and I both do, helping
yes,
people.
very true.
So here's where you are. If you want to get here, there's some pretty logical steps to get there, but it does take discipline and work. And if you don't have that or want to put it in, you're not going to get what you want. You're going to be living a life, but maybe someone else's life. So to be you,
Yeah.
you have to understand who you are, and where you want to be, and what are those, what I call 3-foot tosses, to help them get there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of the culture glorifies certain aspects like stress. We glorify stress, like, oh, you're busy, I'm busier than you. You know, it's almost like we're seeing each other, but then I'm trying to put up a persona, you're trying to put up a persona. So nobody's really seeing each other. So
Yes.
it doesn't really work anyway, because the whole point of building a persona is for social adaptation, is for us to impress other people or hide behind our role.
Yes.
Because being authentic is really scary sometimes, because you're actually connecting with another person. So if we're all putting on a persona, we're not really connecting with each other. Other people are not really seeing who we are anyway. So why even bother doing that? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I really agree with you. Yeah.
I hear all the imposters, you know, the victim, overthinker, seductor, fixer, judge, egotist, overthinker, joker. And then our goal is to become the authentic soul. So when any of these are dominant and living what I call living on the stage of your brain, making decisions for you, you know, it gets challenging because you go, oh, why did I say that to that person? I just ruined my relationship, or I just, you know, whatever it is, I didn't get that job because I lied on my resume and they caught me, whatever it is. It's you're letting one of these guys, this aspect of you who's trying to fool other people to survive. But if you could understand, oh, this is how I've been doing life. I've been lazy or whatever, but I want to, you know, achieve this. I want to write a book, but I can't discipline myself to like write every day. If that's your thing, you know, you got to say, who's my dominant imposter right now? Overthinker, maybe. Oh, so I'm overthinking. It has to be perfect. I'm not good enough. I never took writing classes. I never did this. I don't have the right people. Who's going to buy it anyway? Who has the time? All these excuses, and all of that keeps sucking your energy. I like to equate that to like you know, a hole in your tire when you're driving. Like the air's just seeping out a little bit. It's kind of like in your leg or something, and there's slowly all this energy is just seeping out of you slowly, and you just go, I don't know why I'm so tired, and you can't manage to do it. And you go, okay, I'm going to start tomorrow. And tomorrow. A year goes by, 10 years go by, 20. Now you're on your deathbed going, I never wrote my book. I really wanted my book out there. I wanted my kids to see it and my grandkids, and to help change the world and leave my little piece here. You know, I've been through a couple of people who that happened to. So, and it's just like, do it today. That's all we have is this moment. This moment. Life is now. It's not tomorrow or in the future. And you could keep kicking the can, but it's now. So live for today. And so I want to, how did your life improve when you unplugged and learned to say no?
I think this is an area I'm still struggling, but at least I'm looking at it. It's like Louise Hay said, in order for you to clean your room, you have to first see where the dirt is. So I know I still have a bit of this people pleasing tendency in me. But when I learned to say no, I don't see that as so personal. I'm not rejecting this particular person or this situation. I'm simply allowing myself to relax into not trying too hard to take from other people or give to other people, or, you know, pretending to be because it's very tiring. It's incredibly tiring to pretend or to resist or to procrastinate, right? It takes a huge amount of energy to not be in flow. So when I realized that, okay, when I didn't feel very solid, that's my inner body awareness. I don't feel very solid. I know I'm not really being myself. Then I would just, okay, maybe not today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell me specific example, like with one of your clients that you helped get through something, or even just, you know, you have so many degrees and you've accomplished so much. You know, how did you get through the tough times where you were sick, or you had a personal issue, or someone around you that you loved was passing, or relationship stress?
Yeah, I wouldn't think I'm an expert in that, but then it really, like, keeping a learner's mind is so important, to always know that we don't know a lot. Is 13.8 billion years of evolution, all the factors happening, and it happened this way because of all those experimental variables. And right now I'm presented with this situation. What do I do with it? So usually when I'm struggling with a situation, first thing I tell myself is, okay, what is my mind trying to do? My mind would talk to me until I can settle with a thought that I feel comfortable with. And usually that thought is within the comfort zone. So I'm not really learning or growing. And if I go deeper, so the most superficial level is to try and fix things in the external world. going away a level deeper would be the mind level. And when I quiet the chattering, then it comes to the heart level. What is really here in my heart? What is uncomfortable? Then it's free from all the narrative of the situation. What is left is only the feelings, and usually it's insecurities, fear of abandonment, anxiety, all those things. And then I would just tell myself, okay, no matter what feelings they are, I can handle them. Because all fear comes from us believing we can't handle something, right? So in a very simple way, I would just relax and then feel my heart and then allow my heart to relax.
Okay. How does one do that? I mean, I understand it. You feel your heart and allow yourself to relax, but someone's watching this who doesn't have all the expertise you do, or all the, we've both probably been working in this for 20 plus years. Someone who's 20, 25, who's struggling, saying it's so hard to get a job that I like. I'm in, debt from student loans. I've, in a bad relationship. I'm by myself. How could you help them with what you know? Like when you say feel your heart, how do they tap into that and live their truth or shift their life?
Yeah, I think it all sounds quite abstract, but what it really means is most of us spend majority of our lives before we allow ourselves to look at ourselves, trying to control things. Right? Thinking if we can put on a persona or having a certain imposter defense mechanism, we can control things in a way that will be okay. But then what if life can actually take care of us sometimes? And just know, okay, let me wait till the mud is settled in the water and the right action would arise by itself. Having that kind of patience and convincing yourself, okay, life will take care of me this time. And just experiment with that belief. And usually what we worry about doesn't really happen in the end.
True. Yeah, it usually doesn't. Sometimes it does. Like one of my clients was worried about losing a lot in a divorce settlement and being left almost penniless. And then that happened. So what would you say to her?
I would ask her
years old. She has one child under 10, and he left and I guess hid money. And anyway, it's finished now, and she's got very little. She's got about 3 months to live on. So
not to, yeah.
How would one?
Yeah, of course, we have to be compassionate with ourselves, because subconsciously we're creating the situations we're in every second of life, right? And the question to ask ourselves, it could be, okay, if I'm an intelligent divine being, why am I creating this situation? What is life wanting to warn me about, or what lesson am I learning? Why am I creating this for me to learn something so valuable, even though at the moment it doesn't look very desirable, right? Because life will go to extremes to make you grow, right? And usually we're the one who invite that growth, right? So for that person, I would think if they tune into the part of them that's a creator, that's created this very challenging situation, the same level of consciousness will also provide you with the answer to solve that problem or the situation.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And sometimes that's when it takes a life coach or somebody like yourself to help guide, remind someone, and someone to just get that feedback regularly, and help devise a plan with their self, but help them do it, but be that guide for them.
Exactly.
Yes. How did your life improve when you unplugged and learned to say yes?
Well, obviously, I said yes to co-hosting this podcast with you, the live stream with you. So plenty of opportunity coming my way, and I'm having so much fun just being here. So if my motto is that if I can't find a reason, then why not, right? Then I get to know you, such an amazing person, and I love the work that you do. So yeah, this is a perfect example to answer your question.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I felt such an honor to be listed with you as one of the top life coaches in Asia. So
Likewise.
Yes, and I just want to remind everyone in closing that we do exactly what you said so beautifully, Jackie, that we are in charge of our lives and we are capable of creating. We create our situations by the small decisions we make every single day. I mean, if you want to use the analogy of working out, if you just work out 15, 20 minutes a day, in a year, you'll have a different body. Your mindset will change too. Everything will change because you're going to have more energy. So it's just those very small baby steps to make your whole life change, right? One paragraph a day, 1 page a day, and you'll have 365-page book. All you need is 100. So, whatever it is out there that you want to do, you can do it. And I love what Anais Nin says about your life could shrink or expand depending on where you're at. So if you're shrinking right now, saying, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm abandoned, I don't have this, I don't have that, you have everything. It's just a mindset. And once you start taking those steps, you'll see the universe is going to conspire to help you get and achieve what you want to achieve. If it's authentic, if it's you. So go out there and be you beautifully, because we're all different. We all have different branches and broken in different areas. It's just how you make it work for you. So thank you, Jackie. And thank you for being here today, everyone. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It's been wonderful.
I'm Lisa Haisha, creator of SoulBlazing. I hack how you can change the negative thoughts in your head that hold you back. I call them imposters. I introduce you to them, teach you how to befriend them, and co-create with them, releasing old negative narratives. As a keynote speaker at your next event, I'll help your team turn into master communicators with more camaraderie, which brings more efficiency and growth to your organization. So join me and make shift happen.